Show. Peter G. Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G. Show.
That's right. Sunday night. Right here. Sunday night, October 3rd. We are in October, folks. I'm going to start a festival. October Folks Fest. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Welcome. Welcome to my world. Buckle up. Buckle up. Here comes that sound. It's that time again, folks. Last week, Mr. Bob Paff. Everybody's saying hi. We give everybody a minute to catch up. Hey. Hey, Pete. From the South. Doesn't get any better than this, folks. I mean it. It's all good. Tonight's going to be a doozy. I mean that too. Got some damn exciting stuff. But last week we had Baltimore's own Bob Paff. We were stirring up the shit. Can't help but talk about life with him. Because he's on the East Coast, I'm here on the West Coast, and we're just doing what we do best. Talk about that kind of stuff. Tonight, however, mixing it up. Haven't done this in a while. Tonight I'm going to have author. That's right. Miss Jennifer Irwin. This is a sequel to her first novel, Address the Color of the Moon. Jennifer's deep, and we're going to get deep, and I'm going to love it, and so are you. I could tell within the short amount of time I got to speak with her that we're going to get deep because she writes these books. She's got a reason for it, and she's not afraid to talk about it. And that's what we do here. We share stories. Life of Peter G., right? The life part. That's coming up in a minute or two. I got a lot to bitch about. I really do. I like bitching. It's therapeutic. But look at this. All these. Hey, you can comment live if you're on YouTube right now. You can comment live if you're, hey, from P. Cola. Hey, you can comment live if you're on the official Facebook Peter G. Show. You can comment live if you're on the official Peter G. Show on LinkedIn. After this is all over, it goes to many other pages. There's 3 or more other Facebook pages. All the short clips on Instagram. And even TikTok. That's become quite interesting. Every time something I do blows up, they take it off. I am my morality is off or something like that. I'm good with that too. But and don't forget, subscribe. I thank each and every one of you, my lurkers. We may even take a phone call or two tonight. If I remember to open up the phone lines, I'm sure Jennifer would love to take a phone call from someone. I know I'm looking forward to it. I've got questions. All right, you know what I'm going to do? I had other stuff I was going to do. I don't even want to. We'll leave the rest of the world behind tonight because I've got a week's load of bitching. I mean, I just hate what's going on with us in this world. I really do. I really do. Time out. I'm getting thirsty. Daddy's special sauce. Where was I? Oh, yeah. So, it's been, again, every week, surprises. Just stuff. People, I'm dealing with a lot. I'm trying to mix it up, though. I want to lighten up things, but this is going to be good because this is life. Tonight, we're really going to talk about life and not current events. couldn't help but get into the current event world because there's just a lot of current events going on. Every friggin' day I get up, the shit show starts. Hi, my name is Peter, and I'm your host. Welcome to the shit show. I just embellish things. I bring it to your attention. A lot of people don't like what I have to say, but it's not even me saying this stuff. I'm just bringing it on as what's going on around us real quick. You know, I don't care whose team you're on. I don't care. Again, stop bitching at me. There was a congressional baseball game. You know how they have that yearly baseball game? And there was a lot of booing going on. Again, I don't give a shit what side you're on. Red, blue, green, yellow. That's just other people voicing their opinions. But I don't know if anybody caught that. It's just funny because last week I had all the college football games, basketball. It's all of them. The college football games, and everybody's chanting. I don't make this shit up. I don't produce this stuff. I'm just pulling it and showing you what's going on around the world in case any of you happen to still have the wool over your eyes. Uh-oh, look, it's that time. Jennifer, you ready for me? Shake your head for me. Oh, boy, I can tell. Well, she's giving me the finger. What's that mean? Oh, I'm number one. Oh. Sorry. Okay. Without further ado, what I want to do is I want to bring on, again, Miss Jennifer Irwin. She has a new book out, a sequel to her first novel. And we're going to talk about both her books, and we're going to talk about her. I promise you, we're going to talk about her. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on, here you go. Ladies and gentlemen, where are we? Hi, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me on your show. Yeah.
Well, thank you for giving me the time to be on my little old show. I didn't know, every time I do authors, I don't know what I'm going to get because I've had some people that they come on and they got a good book. They're great writers, but when they come on the show, they're like, so, how's your new book doing? Good. Okay. Well, we look at the time, but when I talk to you, I had this feeling like we're not going to have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into this.
We'll fill some space here, that's for sure.
No. This is quality time. This is what I consider our quality time. Just you, me, and 6 million of my favorite, closest friends.
I have my drink.
Do you really? I got mine too. You don't. I should have sent you a Peter G.
You have some secret sauce in there, some daddy special juice.
Delicioso. It just keeps my whistle wet. That's all.
Yeah, exactly.
It's actually in water, but I like to build it up. It's like you don't know and you don't want to know, so it's clear. Anyway, okay, let's talk about you real quick.
All right.
Not real quick. Let's talk about you because this is where the fun begins. You have a new book that you are getting ready to release. When are you releasing this book?
It actually went up for a pre-sale today on Amazon. So I'm super excited about that. And so you can order the paperback, and then the Kindle edition, my publisher said, is going up for pre-order as well, like tomorrow or the next day.
Wow, I'm stoked. Okay, so this is great timing that you happen to be here and I happen to be here. And
that's perfect timing.
Well, you got a great publicist. What can I tell you?
Oh my gosh, she and I had so much fun when we traveled around together when I was promoting my first book, and she is a hoot.
Yeah,
she's really a hoot.
I kind of figured that because again, I've enjoyed. She was on my show probably almost a year ago.
Okay.
And yeah, because we've been on each other's LinkedIn for a couple of years and just seeing each other's stuff. And finally, I just asked her, "Hey, why don't you come on my show?" So yeah, she is a hoot. But I think that tonight, you're going to out hoot her.
It's possible.
I just had this. Don't ask me why. I just have this feeling. So okay, I'm sorry. I got to reel myself back in. So you have a new book out, and it's a sequel to a first book. Why don't we? Can you give me like a little bit of your first book, and then we'll get into the how and why and what the hell.
Okay. All right. So, Address the Color of the Sky. I started writing when I was going through a divorce, and just sort of wanted to get to the bottom of, why I had a broken man picker. Why did I choose the person I married? I wanted to also touch on a lot of subjects that I thought were really interesting, like the difference between the male and female sex drive, whether or not women can be sex addicts, being codependent, just a lot of different issues. And I wanted to wrap it up in sort of a novel that's easy to read and matter of fact, but touches on very serious subjects. I also wanted to dive a lot into how you recover from being sexually assaulted and what the process of healing looks like. And half the book takes place moving through the protagonist's childhood, and then the other half actually is in rehab because the protagonist is a sex addict.
Okay, so your first book is entitled what?
Address the Color of the Sky.
Where'd you get a title like that?
Okay, so and I'm wearing Address the Color of the Moon.
You are?
Yeah. So the title comes from.
You want to stand up and spin around?
I'll do that later after I've had a little more to drink.
All right.
The title comes from basically the fairy tale Donkey Skin, which is a very old fairy tale, and it's about basically a king whose wife is on her deathbed, and she says, "You can only marry someone fairer than me." And in his madness, after his wife dies, he thinks his daughter, the princess, is the most beautiful person in the world, and that's who he needs to marry. Of course, she doesn't want to marry her dad, so she goes to a fairy nymph, and the fairy says, make a dress the color of the sky, or tell your father to make a dress the color of the sky. He'll never be able to do it, and then you won't have to marry him. So, of course, he does everything she asks, and dress the color of the sky, dress the color of the moon, and a dress the color of the sun. And then she ends up hiding in this donkey skin and escaping, and of course finding her prince. So that kind of touches on obviously sexual assault, incest, kids that are being molested, like things like that, and subjects that are really hard to write about and discuss. But I wanted to, I think fairy tales are really timeless, and I thought that it really aligned well with my book, and I actually refer to the fairy tale in both books. It was made into a movie a couple of times, and it's been around since like the 1600s. So,
I mean, that's deep pulling from the fairy tale just for your title, because when you say address, it's like, to me, when I saw it, it's like a dress, like I didn't take it first until I saw the cover. It's a dress, like clothing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Color of the sky. And your new book is entitled what?
Address the Color of the Moon.
That's
it's just following the fairy tale. I wasn't really sure I was going to write a sequel, but my first book ends where the protagonist, whose name is Prudence Aldrich, she is leaving rehab, and everyone wants to know whether she's going to make it and what's going to happen. She kisses someone in rehab, there's a lot of romances that happen in rehab because people are very raw and vulnerable and open. It's really the worst place to get a relationship going, obviously. So, yeah. And I mean, there was just a lot of reasons why I wanted to write about these sort of subjects, but my father was a drug addict, and it did have like a pretty serious effect on me. And I wanted to really dig into some subjects that I think a lot of people have to deal with in their lives. I know someone who's an addict, or they've had to deal with, a family member or friend. So
okay. So both these books, you're kind of, again, I asked you this, but I want my people to know, you're writing from you. This is this like an autobiography, and you're just putting another name on it, or how does this work?
So the first book is loosely based on my life. I'd say it's about 40% based on my life, and it's called Biographical Fiction. So it reads like a memoir, but it's not a memoir because I had to make it a better story, and I had to obviously change a lot of things to make it just more exciting. But I did write a lot about my childhood experiences and how I had seen what happened to me as a child affect my adult life. And at the time that I was writing the book, Kelly Oxford she's a writer here in LA, I guess a comedian, and she had written that she had been grabbed on a bus when she was 14. And she said, just everybody share their stories on Twitter. And it was literally every second a woman wrote a tweet about their experience. And the experiences were from very serious to just my uncle wanted to smell my bicycle seat when I was 12, whatever. It doesn't even, the whole point was it doesn't matter what happened to you when you were young. It's how it changed you and affected you and like messed with your head and screwed up your opportunities to have healthy relationships and mostly self-love. So the whole point of the first book is that Prudence Aldrich hates herself because she was molested, because she had a very poor self-image, and how do you unwind that? And there's a cast of characters in rehab. I like to call the book Girl Interrupted meets Orange is the New Black. So there's a lot of conversations in the smoking area where people are very real. The characters are very odd and, you know, different, but they're all recovering from addiction. And there's art therapy and music therapy. And I've been highly complimented by therapists in that area of treatment, that the book is a very realistic therapeutic milieu, that it portrays rehab very well. So if you're ever curious about rehab, read my book.
So because this is deep. I mean, I can tell. So you just.
Do I need to have another sip of sugar?
Wait a minute. Hey, let me join you. Hang
I
on.
don't even feel like this is that deep yet.
Ready? 1, 2. Cheers. God bless you. Okay, because my mind is still on your uncle wanting to sniff your bicycle seat.
No, I didn't say my uncle.
Oh, whose uncle?
I'm just saying the tweets were either like very extreme, like, you know, somebody being severely molested and abused, to something that I would consider minor, but that affected someone so traumatically. But the whole point is that there are so many women who have endured sexual assault of some kind. And this,
but you just took it to the extreme. I mean, who thinks that shit up? It's got to be real.
Actually, one of my readers did share that with me.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, believe me, I don't. If you've been on this planet,
I mean, some of the things in my book that are true. I had editors tell me, well, that like can't. You need to take that out because it just would never happen. You know, so.
Okay.
You know.
So your book, you go from the first book, and how long is the time span now? When did you start that book versus now when you're writing this and releasing this new one today?
Yeah. So it took me I guess probably a year and a half to write the second book, but I have an agent and my agent was shopping it around, but I published my first book indie. It's very difficult to get a sequel picked up. And when the first book was published indie, the whole publishing world is changing, the parameters, the platform, the way books are being released. I have a very big social media platform. I don't really need to publish big five. I've managed my career pretty well. So I decided, and I was kind of feeling like if I didn't get the book out, I was going to lose momentum, because even if you get picked up by a big publisher, it takes a year or two for them to even release it. So I just decided to continue with the same publisher that I had originally published with. And I'm really happy that I did. So.
Oh, okay. So what year did the first book come out?
The hardcover released in 2017, then the paperback in 2018, and the Kindle in 2019.
So you're all over I mean, your book went out everywhere that it kind of should have go, right?
Yeah, and the audiobook came out after that. So
I like audiobooks.
Yeah.
I do. You know.
I'm going to hire the same person to do this audiobook. She's really amazing. But
I noticed you didn't read your own book. Why didn't you read your own book?
Oh, did I read it?
On Audible.
Oh, why didn't I read it? Okay. It's very difficult to do an audiobook. There's a lot more involved than I think people realize, and it's extremely complex and detailed. And if you're not a professional audio narrator, I mean, the woman who ended up doing the narration for my audiobook, she went to Yale. She was a theater major. She does New York Times bestselling narrating books. I mean, she's very, very professional, and I just really wanted to go with someone that knew what they were doing. I mean, I don't have a studio. I mean,
Just wondering, because
Yeah.
You're in LA, correct?
Yes.
You're from New York?
I'm from New York. I'm born in California, but I moved to New York. Read my book.
Look, it's been, I can only do so much, but
when I was two, I moved to New York. So I feel like I'm a New Yorker. People tell me I have a New York vibe. I'm very, I'm tough. I open up a can of NYC on you. You'll see.
Not today. I'm busy. But you don't have a New York accent.
Okay, so where I grew up, there wasn't really an accent.
Where in New York?
So I grew up on Long Island, on what they call the Gold Coast, but I grew up in the North Shore. We rented a cottage on the Tiffany estate. So I was the poor kid in the helps quarters, but I grew up in this very wealthy, elite, very refined area, and basically no one had an accent where I grew up.
That's hard to believe, because you just can't say we're not going to have an accent, because I was born in New Haven, Connecticut, and I could have sworn I saw you on Jones Beach one day years ago.
You might have. My family is the Jones family. It's so funny because
see what I mean?
We sold that land for like $1 or something.
Oh boy, they got the short end of the stick over there then, right? But I go there just so I can get a slice.
Oh yeah, the pizza's really good.
Friggin' okay. So you got your side. I'm getting sidetracked because you got all these different attributes of all these different things. But the bottom line is, to me, everything is. And correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I got from the read that I did, it's really coming from you. There's a lot of stuff going on that you're pulling from, and that's really what it's all about. I mean, in talking to you're real. I was just saying it tonight. I can't put my finger on it when I'm talking to you. It's you're very open.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
Yeah, no, I definitely am not afraid to talk about real stuff and the things I've been through, and how everything I've been through helped me write the book. And I think when I was going through my divorce, I realized that my childhood had to have had an impact on my relationship. And, we're all carrying around a lot of baggage, and we can choose to bring the bad stuff with us, or we can heal and move forward. And you can't close the door on your past. You can't just ignore something that happened to you that's traumatizing, but you can process it and heal. And my book really digs into that healing process in a light manner, in which you get in this girl's head. She's kind of nutty. She obviously likes sex a lot. She sexualizes herself. She sexualizes everyone she sees. She pictures people doing it all the time. But then as the book sort of continues, you see her evolving. You see her getting out of that mode and really healing and finding self-love, and realizing that she was just a victim. She was a child. And, I just wanted to take some of my experiences and make it into a story. But the outpouring of responses I got from my readers was just it was nothing I imagined. It was unbelievable. It's really been unbelievable.
Well, again, one of the biggest reasons I do this show is because there's so many people that are silent and keep all this within them, and they're begging for somebody to come out and say the stuff that you say, so that way they can go, oh, thank God it's not just me.
Yeah. It's really hard to talk about, and it took me a long time to even really talk about it. But I was molested. I was sexually assaulted, and that really had a huge impact had a huge effect on me. And also being the child of a drug addict. And my father was a great person, but he was an addict, and he was kind of twisted and sick. And I was exposed to things that kids shouldn't be exposed to. And what I learned when I was doing research for the book is that when you've had these experiences, it stunts your maturity. So you're basically you're very immature, and when you're immature, you can't really have a healthy relationship with someone. And I chose to marry an alcoholic because I was codependent, taking care of my father. I'd been molested, and I, not by my father, but he had his own set of problems. But I really went to the root of why did I marry this person, and then it all kind of stems back to it. So that's kind of how the book came about.
Okay, so now that was the first book. Are we talking about the first book, right? All this?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first book.
Let's go back a little bit, because now you're in my wheelhouse. Because again, the Peter G Show originally started out, and I briefly touched on this, that divorce and single parenting, surviving divorce. I mean, divorce is hell within itself. It could be hell.
It really is. I never will get married again because I never want to go through that again. Meanwhile, my ex-husband is going through another divorce.
Sure. There's some people that can do it 3, 4, 5 times.
Oh, my parents. My dad was married 4 times. My mom was married 3 times. I mean, I don't have a very good image of what a healthy relationship looks like. Let's be serious.
But yet you've survived to talk about it.
I'm still alive, yeah. And I really like my ex-husband. We get along great, and
really,
now that he's getting a divorce, we're getting along even better because she didn't like me much for some reason.
Okay, but I mean, this is, and you have children?
I do. I have 3 sons.
Ages?
Yeah. I get I forget sometimes, but the oldest one is 27, I think, and then the middle one's 25. Okay. 27 or 28.
No, you got 28, 28, 25,
might be 27, turning 28, and then 25, and then 22.
22, very good, bingo. Because I asked you that a couple of days ago, and I wrote it down. But I just want.
I know. I think after I said the ages, I was like, I think I overshot Chase's age by 1 year.
Okay, but the thing is, they're pretty much. I mean, even though they're grown, they're never grown. You know what I'm saying?
It's really weird about parenting because you think, like they're in college, like I'm done, and then there's all these trials and tribulations, and then they're out of college and they're working, and
they're always your
this
kids.
is what I really like to say. Once your child goes to college, you take your parent hat off and you put your coaching hat on. And instead of answering things and trying to solve their problems, you literally say to them, what do you think you should do? What do you think's the best thing? Because if you continue to try and solve all their problems, they're not going to do healthy adulting.
Correct. But I mean, they're still, no matter how old, they're still your babies. I mean, somehow, way, shape, or form.
I know. And my youngest, I'm embarrassed to tell you, I still do his laundry.
Does he live with you?
Well, he just graduated from college. He's actually in New York having the final round of an interview in solar sustainable trading or something. He was the really smart one, the one that cared. They're all really smart, but he's the one that academically cared.
There is no shame in doing your son's. I mean, if he comes home or whatever, let me tell you something. When I moved to LA, which was a long time ago, but my mother would, flew here, and I have pictures of her on her hands and knees wiping down my kitchen floor.
Yeah, I would literally do that. I would do anything for my kids. I'm totally a sucker.
That's okay. That's love.
I was at a party last night when we couldn't do the sound check because I was at a party. And honestly, I was talking to all these people, and because all my kids are still on my cell phone bill, and half the people at the party, they were still on their parents' cell phone bill. It made me feel a lot better. My oldest is about to get married, and I'm like, do you think I should get him off my cell phone bill? But I'm like, nah. No.
Yeah, the family plan is actually really affordable. It's the first, I can look. There's no shame in that. Okay, there really isn't. But okay, so your kids had to go through. I'm thinking they had to go through a lot of the stuff that you went through. How are they doing?
So my kids and I. So when my ex-husband and I lost all our money in 2007, like a lot of people in the United States and during the economic crisis. That was right when I was getting separated. I actually couldn't afford a lawyer, so I didn't even get divorced until I didn't even finalize my divorce until much, much later. And a dad on the baseball team said he would do it for me, and he wasn't even a divorce lawyer. Like, it was literally that's pathetic. So I basically lost all my money. We had bought a car dealership, everything crashed, and I scraped to stay in a good school district, and we constantly had no.
Oops.
My kids, if they lost a sweatshirt, I you have to go to the lost and found and just see if you can find one there. It was just a lot of touch and go, but we're all very close as a result. I had full custody of them, 99.9%. So I basically did it all on my own. So
how are they with their father now?
The youngest, he paid for the youngest to go to college, which was a surprise. The other two did not have that advantage. And I would say my oldest has a very not powerful relationship with his dad. I think he loves his father, obviously, but they're not close, and he would not turn to him in a crisis. I would definitely be the first person he would call. And then the middle one,
he saw more because he saw more.
Yeah, I think he saw more, and he just didn't want to deal with it. As a matter of fact, in the very beginning, when there was visitations, he just would disappear. He just wouldn't want to be here. And that's been the way it's been with the oldest. The middle one really wanted to have a relationship with his dad and tried really hard, and that just didn't really work out. I would say all three of them accept their father for who he is, and he's a good person, and he just literally never wanted to be a father. It just wasn't what he wanted to do. And I didn't really know that till after the fact. So,
and addiction is hard. Addiction's a bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think anybody grows up and says, "I want to be a crack whore."
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
I mean, Sarah, I don't think anybody, you never in your wildest dreams would think you're raising your children or whatever, and things are going to go awry, and they do. And if they do, it's like it could turn out, survivable or not.
Yeah.
And
it's
how would
very
you rate
sad.
How survivable do you think you feel?
Well, so I've done a lot of personal work. I mean, I'm certainly not perfect, and there's things that are obvious that are called triggers, triggers from past relationships, triggers from your childhood, and you can overreact to something somebody does that really has no correlation at all to something in your childhood, and you can overreact because it's a trigger. So you start to recognize, the more treatment you have, the more healing you do, the more personal work you do, you can say, you know what, that isn't really about that person. I'm acting like this, or I feel weird because of something that happened that he didn't really know even happened. You know what I mean? So I think that I'm just in a lot better place. I have a great relationship with my kids. They're all close together, and I'm very close with them. And we've kind of proceeded. I've gotten my career off the ground, and I work a few different jobs, but I feel more financially stable than I ever have. And there's just a lot of blessings, but it's taken a lot. And I would say I probably have a lot less wrinkles if I hadn't struggled so much after my divorce. It was just it was brutal. It was just literally brutal.
All right. But the thing is, okay, so you were from California, you went to New York. How did you go from New York and then get back to California?
My ex-husband's job brought us here, and I just ended up staying and not, just decided the kids ended up being sort of California kids, and I just stayed.
Gotcha.
And what's not to love California?
We're paying through the nose for it, but yeah. I mean, we are.
That's true. That's true.
It's very true. It is very true. Wow. Okay. So you said you've had to deal with drugs, alcohol, sex addiction.
No, I haven't had to deal with sex addiction, but my dad probably was a sex addict, I would say. Yeah.
How do you define sex addict? I mean, what defines that? Because I really don't understand that.
A lot of people don't even know if it's real and if it's like a real. Okay, so I think I came up with the whole sex addiction thing because, okay, I used to teach Pilates when I was raising my kids. I taught a lot of Pilates, like private Pilates, and I got to know women, and I heard it all. I heard just like being a hairdresser, and I think that like I realized that women actually do have a high sex drive, but they get turned on in different ways than men and in less obvious ways. And I remember when 50 Shades of Grey came out and these women were just extremely sexual again. Like it was like marriages were revving up, people were getting it on again. It was like very exciting time to be a Pilates teacher and like hearing all these women talking about the book. And it was just really interesting. And around the same time, Tiger Woods came out as a sex addict, and David Boreanaz, like a lot of other actors, and it was kind of a thing, and it just became just interesting to me because you weren't hearing about women coming out as a sex addict. And a lot of the times when a guy has sex, multiple partners, they're sort of a stud, and they're just a regular hot guy that gets a lot of babes. And a woman is a slut. So I wanted to kind of address that too. And why is that, and to me, any addiction, the definition of addiction is if your behavior is bothering you, affecting your life, affecting your self-worth, affecting your relationships, it's a problem. And you should probably take a look at it. So if you're having sex with a lot of people and you're not having a problem with it, then that's fine. It's really how your behavior is affecting your life. And I can't decide that. You have to decide that,
But is that in the book, in your character?
So she's a sex addict, the protagonist. Yeah. And she's checking into rehab. And
for sex addiction?
Yeah, for sex addiction.
Wow.
Yeah. And the book sort of opens and she's having sex in an airplane bathroom, and which is not a pleasant experience. So have you ever done that? Or have you ever had sex in what?
Wait. First book or the new one?
The first book. So,
okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, both books go back and forth in time, basically. So it gives you an idea of what's going on in rehab and how did she get there. So the first one goes back and forth in time to the childhood. The second book goes from what's happening with Prudence in her everyday life and how she's trying to get the wheels back on the bus, raise her son, damage control, get her career back on track, finally get a divorce from Nick, and have all these temptations and deal with having her cell phone back and these kinds of things. And then it goes back into rehab and some of the relationships that she made in rehab. So both of the books go back and forth.
Because I see rehab, to me, from my experience, now I've never been in rehab, but you don't have to be in rehab to know what goes on in rehab. If you talk to enough people, or if you got enough friends who've been in rehab. Hi, my name is Peter, and So
there's a lot of that in the book.
Well, there is, but the thing is, to me, rehab is like elementary school. Mm-hmm. When you're in elementary school, you're surrounded by kids, and I tell my daughter this all the time. You have a best friend, and the reason they're your best friend is because that's the people that are around you at the moment. Mm-hmm. At the time. But then as you switch grades and you go through a different grade and you get out of that school, that new best friend may not be your best friend anymore. So when you're in rehab,
that's totally true.
So it's almost like, you tend to lean on each other because you think you both understand each other.
Right.
You're in rehab. And therefore it's like, well, what else is there to do? We're in rehab.
Yeah. And I go into like a lot of these conversations that smoking area is a very popular place where they can talk unsupervised. And that's where a lot of the conversations happen that are very kind of more real, and they're not in group therapy or in a one-on-one therapy session. And so you get to know these characters in the smoking area. Prudence does have a slight mishap in rehab when she kisses someone. And I bring that character into A Dress the Color of the Moon. He comes to LA and he's like, in her mind, just the perfect guy. And I don't want to do too many spoilers, but the perfect guy who was in rehab for coke addiction. So how perfect is he, right? You know, and obviously that's setting them up for failure.
Right, right.
And I also have her therapist come back to LA, who is sort of like a rock to her and somebody that she, I think part of the sort of the way she's drawn to him is he does not sexualize her and has not sexualized her. So she sees him in a completely different light. And she calls rehab to talk to him because something happened to her at work. And they say he's gone, he's not there, and there's no forwarding number. So I have him coming back to LA because he's endured a tragedy at work and doesn't want to be a therapist anymore. And she finds him as well. So there's all these things that happen in LA, and I bring a bunch of characters back. And then there's a big funeral at the end. So I don't know if you saw The Big Chill. It was a movie in the 80s. It's kind of like The Big Chill. Everybody comes back for this funeral, all these characters. So, and wrap it up at the end.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty deep, right?
It's kind of deep, but it's also kind of funny. I'll touch on the homeless situation in LA because I like to use my writing as a platform to talk about social injustices, social issues that are uncomfortable to talk about, and you can't really talk about on social media without losing all your followers. So I definitely like to use my writing voice to talk about things that I'm troubled about. So I dive a little bit into the homeless situation and some community service that Prudence does with her son, which is a way to not be so self-absorbed, to give back to others, to volunteer and get out of your own way, you know? So there's a lot of lessons there, but no, and it's hard to explain the way I write, but I write the way I talk. It's very easy to read. It's light. I mean, you can read it in a day. It's very matter of fact. I mean, it's very easy to read. And I think like one of the more surprising things from my first book is that over 50% of the reviews were written by men. And that was not my target audience at all, or what I thought would be my target audience. But you get into a woman's head, and I mean, what guy doesn't want to get into a woman's head? Come on.
That's a dangerous place. You know, I've learned it can be a dangerous place. You know, let's talk about getting into a woman's head, because I love it, because I swear, again, going back to divorce and all that.
Oh, you know, no, divorce is. The word amicable and divorce are hilarious.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, we had an amicable." I mean, there's just no such thing.
Don't get me started. But here's the thing. You talk about 50 Shades of Grey, and women, I think, have some women, now, not all, but I feel some women have a very deep down planted thought and desire and will never bring it up, but yet deep down they're thinking things and they're just too scared to talk about things.
Yeah.
What's your take? I mean, you never know.
I totally agree with you. Like, I think that more marriages and relationships over money and sex, those are the two subjects that are very difficult to discuss. And I learned this lesson when I was living in New York and I was in my 20s and I was dating this like super cool guy, and he was in law school at Columbia, and he was like hanging out with John Kennedy, and like they had gone to Brown together. Like, it was a very like highfalutin crowd, and I was faking orgasms the whole time I was with him. And it just really bothered me that I did that, and I didn't even know why I was doing it. And I told him, I confessed to him, and he dumped me like a bad cold. But guess
what
who?
did you?
And
What
guess
did you
what?
confess?
He's following me on LinkedIn. So whatever, he had to find me. He's still obsessed with me. But the bottom line is that I learned a lesson, very good lesson, was that why are you like, if you're faking orgasms, you are telling the guy he's doing everything right. It's your fault. And you think he's not good in bed because you didn't tell him what to do. So it's on you. So I told myself after that, I would never fake it again. I would just be like, look, it's not going to happen. You got to spin a plate, do a hula hoop. It's like really hard to make it happen. Some girls, I don't know, they're really lucky, but I'm just not that girl.
I'm going to make a mental note of that right now. Jennifer's very tough to get her putter flutter.
But I think, you know, look, Gwyneth Paltrow's made talking about vagina is really a thing. And I love that. I think it's great, you know, and women are very afraid to say what they want and afraid to talk. You're just, is your daughter like in the other room? Like,
no, she's 15.
Can we talk about the text message you sent me?
No, we're not talking about the text messages. Zip it. No.
Okay. No, so at any rate, I learned from that experience, first of all, that men's egos are tied into whether or not a woman has an orgasm, even if the woman, so
really,
as a result, women will fake it to stroke a man's ego. That's stupid. That is really stupid.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, look, if I took a poll right now and texted 20 of my girlfriends, they'd all be like, yeah, we fake it all the time.
They weren't 20 of mine.
That's what every guy says.
I'm just saying, I don't know. Unless, I don't, then they deserve an Oscar. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just really
seriously
easy. Didn't you watch When Harry Met Sally? I mean, come on.
No, I never watched that movie. That's like
okay. Well, now you have to watch it because she does a really good fake orgasm in a deli in New York. Like it's really
who's got time for that? I'm busy. All right, let's talk. Wow. Okay, so the 50 Shades of Grey thing. I mean, God bless the women that understand.
Yeah, I could not read that book. I tried to read. I couldn't get through it, and I don't want to be tied up, ball gagged. You know, I don't want to be like handcuffed and dominated. It's just not my thing. I don't judge anyone that wants to, but it's definitely not my thing.
Okay, but I've never seen it. I just know that it's more provocative, and it, either got women, dander up, or they really started opening up, and it's like, God bless them, let them open up. And
I was thrilled by the way that book just resexualized a lot of marriages. I mean, to me it was a huge blessing, and it was fascinating to me. And I don't know, whatever it takes is my motto. If it's not hurting anything and you like that kind of stuff, you go for it. But yeah, no, that book recharged a lot of people's marriages and relationships. And
yeah, but for how long?
I don't think it lasted. I don't think it lasted that long, to be honest with you. But it was like the studio was on fire. Like these women were just like, I mean, they were just lit. It was insane.
I know, but if you ask me, I mean, sex is great. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you have to really like that person on the downtime more so than the uptime. No, am I wrong?
No, I agree. I mean, look, I get and people just bug me, so I just I lose interest. But I don't know. I mean, I agree. I don't know. I mean, I try to just be really nice, but
you have a short attention span nowadays.
I know. I don't know. I don't really know.
Write that down.
I'm not like cynical, but I tend to, and I've been told this by a lot of therapists, I have a very male, the way I look at things is very more masculine. I don't know why, but it could be just because I was in fight or flight mode or something as a kid, but I tend to look at sex and relationships and love a little bit more like a dude.
You nailed it on the head. I was trying to figure this out tonight, and you're like a guy friend with boobs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and the other thing that I would hear a lot from therapists is that I exuded sex, and I could be in jeans and a t-shirt, like doing completely nothing, just like minding my own business, and a therapist would be like, you just exude sexuality. And I didn't know why or what I was doing. And that took me a long time to sort of unwind and not like put that out to the universe, you know?
What do you mean? What are you doing about it?
Well, I just don't want to come across that way. And I had to figure out what was it that I was doing and how did I,
do you have a choice?
What?
Do you have a choice?
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I felt like it was something the way I was, that I was too approachable, or maybe I don't know. But I heard it from a lot of therapists. So I was like, okay, I better try and figure out what I'm doing.
Maybe it's just your aura. I mean, I don't know either. You know, I've never heard.
It was like some aura.
You know, you kind of are who you are.
Yeah. But you can you can like soften your edges. I mean, I used to be a lot tougher. And
is tough sexy?
No, it was just my life. I was like surviving. I was literally fighting for my life as a kid. So I was very tough. And that you're not always fighting for your life as an adult. So I had to kind of soften that. Look, I'm always interested in personal growth and how you can do better, how you can be a better person, how can you grow more as a person. And mostly why I wanted to write this book, my first book and the second book, is to learn from my mistakes and help others learn from theirs and see how you can grow and not marry the same person again, the same in a different face, you know. And you know, we all have a type, and is that working for you? You know, turn over a stone you normally wouldn't. Go for the guy that doesn't catch your eye, at the party, or the girl.
How do you do that?
Because sometimes you can just kiss someone that you don't think is that attractive, and then there's like fireworks and chemistry. You don't know. Yeah, I used to be really looks oriented, which is very not good.
That's for a woman, maybe. But look, and again, I'm just being honest. I mean, I think I speak for most people. Nothing starts off, and again, we're talking about your book, but we're talking about life and reality. Nothing starts off with, God, she's got such a sexy brain.
But I think the older you get, the more authentic you are with what really makes you happy. You know?
Sure. That's after you peel away this, a bunch of layers, and it's like, do you really like this person once the thrill is gone?
Like you said, in the downtime, you gotta like that person. So you want them to be attractive, but hey, people get fat. Like people, age differently. I mean, you could be marrying a supermodel and she might look terrible. At 50, you don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen. So you better, like them as a person.
I'm just as God made me. Yeah. Okay. So I'm trying. I'm trying. It is hard. It is hard. We are not. But the thing is, like I said, what is attractive? I find that women find things attractive way differently than what men find things attractive. And
well, I really love going to Europe and seeing like these smoking hot girls with super short, like bald, like a little bit chubby guys, because you just go,
they're paying the rent. Yeah.
But in the end of the day, that's fine. And there's a line in my first book: everybody pays, directly or indirectly. Everybody pays for sex in some way or another. Really? Let's be honest. I mean, it's just the way life is. It's cynical, free. Maybe. Nothing's free.
Nothing in life is free. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I used to see in Hollywood, because I was been here, I've been here 30 years. And when I was really running the Hollywood Strip and all that kind of stuff, I'd see these great looking women with these overweight, like Asian guys or nothing about, or whatever, old guys, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I just don't have enough zeros at the end of my thing, in the bank account.
No, the fatter the wallet, the hotter the chick. Definitely.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good start.
True.
I find that, because to me personally, and again, I've always said it a million times, it's like, I find that women can learn how to love somebody. I could not. I'm not a good faker. I'm just not. I just could. I don't care. Some people go like, man, she's got a lot of money. It's like, I don't care. I mean, it's like, what's good are we gonna do? I'm not gonna. I won't last. Yeah.
look, I think there's someone out there for everybody, but I guess the point is that I didn't want to end up in the same kind of relationship and just go for the hot guy with the 6-pack abs and, 6 foot broad shoulder, whatever, over 6 foot, chiseled jaw, like just my type. My type wasn't working for me. And I needed to stop going for my type.
What is your type?
Well, I'm still trying to figure that out.
All right. Just asking because I'm just saying, that's the problem.
I think I like smart, funny. I want some, I'm athletic. I want someone that can, go skiing and
all right, I'm
do
out.
Stuff. Like I want someone that I can share my life with, but I don't really necessarily don't want to get married. Definitely.
No. You don't look at a certain age. You've been there, done that. You were married. Would you say 19 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a long time. That really is a long time.
I stayed probably like 9 years too long.
Okay, well, even 10 years is about average if you're lucky. For nowadays, everybody says, "Screw it, I quit." It's real easy to quit, but you went through different extremes of all that. Here's what I'm going to do. I want you to talk about the new book now, real quick.
Okay.
And while you're talking about the new book, I'm going to do something that doesn't get done. I have the greatest audience of lurkers who love to watch but never come in to call. They love to watch. Figure that one out. Okay. And but I'm going to open up the phone lines. Okay. And let me get. And if anybody has a question for Jennifer, you're more than welcome to call 818-259-7983.
And can I just say I'm not a therapist?
Well, yeah, neither am I. But still, if they got questions, it doesn't matter. We're just sharing stories, okay?
Right. So something that I really had to put in my second book was, and I don't really I don't want to give too many spoilers, but Prudence does, have sex with someone and it's like the dream guy, like the guy she's been like pining for. He's been pining for her, like this fiery moment, and his dick doesn't work. And I just
whoa. Let's back that up. So she finds the guy that visually or emotionally and physically, or just physically,
like a dream guy, and like he's been trying to get her, and they finally get into the act, and he just like can't perform.
It's like
so I had to touch on like every guy's worst nightmare. He's got the hot chick, he's like ready to go, and he's too eager, and I had like that was just like the perfect thing. It does ultimately happen, but then she freaks out and it's not a good program. But
so what you're saying is she was hoping for a guy who's like right? But all of a sudden, she gets in bed with him, and it's
pretty much.
Am I correct? Oh,
yeah, boy. Because I think,
oh boy,
I think what I wanted to touch on that is that sometimes our expectations are so high that everything's just going to be like fireworks. And look, sex is messy and it's awkward, and it can be great and fun, but it can also sometimes be kind of like, okay, it was like fine, but it wasn't like great. You know what I mean? Like it takes time for those things to really get great. It just doesn't happen.
Great isn't every single day. Maybe when you're 20,
right?
Well, but the thing is,
20s just great is just getting laid,
Yeah. Period. Yeah. And if you're lucky, you don't have a child.
Yeah. Like mommy at the door. But I think that we need to like put things in reality that sex is just, it takes time to have it be really great, and it's not always going to be perfect. And I don't know, I just had to make that whole first encounter with somebody that she had built up in her head so much, that a lot of women do, and the guy had too, and then it was just sort of this little debacle, and it's kind of realistic. And I dated this chef in New York for like, he was so hot, and he like owned the hottest restaurant in New York, and I mean, it was a problem. I had to break up with him because it was a real problem.
Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa. So you dated this hot guy, and what? He couldn't handle you?
No, it was just like every time we tried to do it, it was a problem. And and I still to this day feel kind of bad about that, but I think I like intimidated him or something, and it was just like,
no, you look like a handful. I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean, it's just like, I'm just saying that it's like, I don't, it's a fine line dealing with you. Impossible.
I'm pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'm pretty nice. So, so in A Dress the Color of the Moon, I love that it takes place in LA. They go to a football game, but I have it at USC, where they had like the temporary stadium, because they hadn't built the new stadium yet. So there's just like a lot of LA stuff that people will understand and find, one of the hot guy is staying at the Peninsula, living there. Then he gets a loft in down LA. It's just a lot of LA stuff. And I was really excited to write a book that takes place in LA, just because this is my home, and I really love LA. And and like I said, I touched on the homeless situation here and how, it's just really tragic. And I just wanted to kind of talk about our city and have the story take place here. Manhattan Beach, a lot of it's taking place in the beach cities. So hopefully people will like that,
Wow.
Especially LA, Angelinos.
818-259-7983. If anybody has some kind of question to ask,
if anyone I know is listening, call in. Give me a question.
Here's the beauty of it. Look, Jennifer, I mean, I just got off the phone before the show with somebody else who's going to be on the show. And the problem is, across the United States, especially the timeline, it's late at night tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. A lot of people go, Peter, I love your show. I got to go to bed. I got to go to work in the morning. The beauty of this whole thing is, like, they may not call in tonight, or they may. And if they do, I'm going to interrupt our conversation and take the call. But this show will live on, and this show grows momentum, and the snowball starts picking up. And let me tell you, the impact you will make will live on for years to come. So just know that whatever you're saying right now, in that
it's gonna live on forever.
Oh, absolutely! You're going down in history. Yeah, you're going down in history. So that's the beauty of it.
Look, I'm pretty real. I don't have what you see is what you get. So, yeah. So there's a strip club, a lot of strip club scenes. There's a strip club in LA called Bare Elegance. And I have a friend that worked there, and
never heard of
it. Well, one of the rehab people goes there to find someone. And again, I don't want to give too many spoiler alerts, but I had to dig pretty deep into the stripper world to learn about everything that goes on backstage and all that. So
please tell me you got a job as a stripper. Wait, did you get a job as a stripper?
I just worked the cocktails. No, just kidding. There's no cocktails. They don't serve drinks there.
You've seen it all, then.
Yeah, I know. But I had some very good sources that helped me a lot to make very realistic strip clubs and the way that all works. So that was kind of fun doing that research. I went to Vegas and got to go backstage and see, just everything. It was fun. And the girls were very accommodating and helpful.
Sure they are. I mean, what do? You walk in and you just say, hi, I'm doing research. Hi, my
I
name's
set it all up before through different people that I knew. I mean, I am really close friends with someone that worked at Bare Elegance, and it was good for my kids to know her, because I wanted to demystify the whole sex industry with my kids, because I do think pornography it can be a problem for people watching too much pornography is a real problem. And I learned all this a lot when I was doing research about addiction, and that's one of the addictions that's very problematic in our world. And at any rate, I was concerned for my boys because obviously it's just everywhere, and I just wanted them to really understand these are just real people working in the industry. They're trying to get their bills paid, and maybe they've got kids or whatever. So, but my friend that doesn't work in that industry anymore, but she did work at Better Elegance. And she connected me with some girls in Vegas. And so I was able to really dig in and make that whole part of the book very realistic. So they don't serve cocktails at Bear Elegance because it is all nude and they can't have like people getting drunk, but they do there is a back room that you can get drinks out. So, yeah, so some of the wheels come off the bus and, you know, there's a lot of things that go on, but I mean, am I making you want to read it or what?
Look, yeah, Jennifer. Again, I've known women, girls, I mean, through my lifetime that I had a friend of mine, he always used to say, he says, most girls that get into that whole scene, hang on one second, we got a phone call. We're going to take it, all right?
Yeah.
Hi, you're on with Life of Peter G. Turn your radio down and say hello to Jennifer. Hang on one second, we got a phone call. Oh, boy. Hello.
Hello, I am here.
Hey, say hi to Jennifer.
Hello,
Hi.
Jennifer. It's Tony call.
Thank you for calling.
What you got?
You are welcome. So I read the first book and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And one question I want to ask is you used the brilliant fairy tale, The Donkey Skin. And you mentioned that earlier. Mm-hmm. And there are sort of 3 moves in that. The dress, the color of the sky, and you wrote that book. The dress, the color of the moon, mm-hmm. and you wrote that book. And that's the forthcoming mm-hmm. book. So here's my question. Are you going to write a 3rd book, The Dress, the Color of the Sun? Because if so, I can't wait to read it.
Wow.
Aw, thank you so much.
That's a great question.
Thank you so much.
I mean, it leaves you with a lot of open space.
I have laid out the 3rd book because I do leave the ending of the 2nd book. I dangle a little carrot that there's a possible connection between Prudence and one of the other characters, but I couldn't have them forming a relationship just yet. If my readers want me to write the 3rd and final trilogy of that, and I would love to do that. I'm super attached to characters, and thank you so much. Thank you for calling, and I just really appreciate that you read my books, and I love that men are reading my books. Like, honestly, that just makes me so happy. It really does.
Cool.
So, well, yeah. I think all men should read your books. I think all women should read your books as well. Either way, brilliant writing, a brilliant writer.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me.
Thank you for calling.
You guys have a great night. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Look at you with your fan club.
That's so nice. Yeah.
No, it is nice.
I mean, I told you, like, man, really, I really was amazed. And I got a lot of very touching messages about how the book changed their life. And I'm really excited to share the sequel with my readers and to see how they like it. And to, they just want to know how Prue is going to fare in the world. And Prudence is very flawed, but she's likable. She's just a girl that's had a really rough go of it. And I think people can relate to that, you know?
Right. Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we all got our issues. I say it a million times. Everybody's got problems. I mean,
and social media, I mean, we're portraying ourselves as perfect and portraying ourselves as like life is great. And I usually post stuff that's like pretty, like, you know, I'm depressed or like I'm having issues or I'm trying to make a living and I'm working different jobs. You know, we're all trying to make it. And I just really like supporting women in business and people starting businesses. I try to promote people as much as I can because it's hard, you know, we're all just trying to chase a dream and make things happen. And, you know, I do my best to try and really support other people and whatever they're trying to launch and get off the ground. Cause I just admire people that have the guts to do that and just try to start a business or chase a dream, because the fear of failure is what stops us most of the time.
True. Again, life, everybody gets dealt a different hand. It's how you handle it. But I honestly, I mean, one person's worrying about $100, another person's worrying about $100,000. The headache is still the same as far as I'm concerned. It's everybody deals with things differently.
True.
We're running out of time. I'm going to give people up. Here we go. Another phone call for my. Hi, you're on with Life of Peter G. Who's this?
Hey, this is somebody you don't know.
Okay.
And you can tell from my accent that I'm in New York, right?
You sound like a New Yorker.
Yeah. No, this is Madam Perry, and I have a question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You work at a strip bar, Madam?
No, because the few I have seen were kind of disappointing, and then.
Wow, sorry. Okay, what's your question for Jennifer?
Yeah. Okay, my question is, Dress the Color of the Sky, brilliant, fabulous, and millions of people love it. Look how many reviews you have on Amazon and stuff. But what was I gonna say? Can you see me?
No.
Yeah, I can see you. I can see you right now.
I'm gonna smack you. Anyway, well, I should have got dressed. Anyway.
What? Yeah. What color is that?
So, and Dress the Color of the Moon, I'm almost through, is brilliant. I love how you create the situations, and you know just what to give a little humor to ease up. You know what to do. But do you ever see yourself writing a book that would be more chick lit, like I don't mean Sex in the City, but more like Shopaholic by Sophie Kinsella or somebody like that?
Yeah. I mean, I love rom-coms. That's really just, if I'm ever going to just really chill, I just want to watch a rom-com. I just think they're just so fun. And I of course, I would love to write something like that. I'm halfway. I've written the first draft of my third novel. It's called The Ad Agency. It is an unlikely love story, but it's definitely not rom-com-y. It's a little bit slapstick. There is like humor in it. But I don't know. I just write what comes to me and what speaks to me. So if something like that did eventually start speaking to me, then I'd love to, believe me, I want to write whatever I can and just keep getting the books out, because it makes me so happy. And it really fulfills me. And someday I hope I can just make a living as a writer and I don't have to do 82 other jobs so I can live in LA. But until then, I'm going to continue to do that. But I just always will keep writing. And one of a rom-com story, might be in me. I don't know. I've certainly made my boys watch enough of them. So
what's a rom-com?
Like romantic comedy, just,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Didn't you worked at an ad agency, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So of course, I had to write a book about advertising because it's a really wild career to work in. It's like, honestly, it's like,
because it made me think about, because there's a show on Netflix called Call My Agent, and it's a French club, and I think it reminds me of what you're writing with the ad agency.
Yeah.
Well, all right, I'll
Madam Perry, I need to get back on your show.
It's like, what kind of Madam Perry?
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Yeah, no.
Yes, because it's a cultural salon, like in Europe or England in days past, where there was a madam who was a patroness of the arts, and people would come gather around.
Yeah.
Composers and writers and share what they were working on.
I think I've been to a cultural salon.
It's called Bare Elegance
in Amsterdam.
Okay.
Michael DeBar. Michael DeBar, the guitar player.
Who are you talking to, Jennifer or myself?
I'm talking to you.
I don't know Michael DeBar.
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Do I owe money?
He's on the TV show. He's on the TV show MacGyver. There was a documentary about him came out a few months back called Who Do You Want Me to Be?
Yeah.
Because he also co-wrote that song, Who Do You Want Me to Be? But anyway, when he came on the show, he was talking, and he's on Little Steven's Underground Radio. He's got a show. But anyway, when he came on, he was talking about, when I think of Madam, I think of I think of this, I think of brothel. I said, geez, Michael, I'm not fishing for compliments. Let it go.
Well,
Jennifer, I'm very sad that we're not going to be hitting the road like Thelma and Louise, you know?
That's about right.
Oh,
you and I, like when we were on
goodness,
book
we
tour,
went.
I mean, it was just...
We don't even remember the name of the city in Alabama. We stopped at 2 a.m. at some little roadside dive.
We were like 10 guys
Some
asking
things
for
don't
a
have-
phone number.
don't
I mean,
tell.
I've never been so popular in my life. I need to go back there.
You're gonna well, you're getting ready to get more
get
popular.
myself a date.
And she had been on an ABC, on a TV show that morning. It was like the morning show of the ABC affiliate there in Birmingham. This is a big deal. And then she had a book signing at Barnes & Noble. Then after that, you know, we're driving through, well, we got to get something to eat. We got to get gas at this little place, you know. And
she goes to the bathroom. I got like 10
like
pool players asking for my number.
Sure. Why not? Why
fun.
not?
Yeah, I had to pay for my food. She didn't. But anyway, there you go.
Wow. Wow.
They kept saying, is your mother going to stay with you or your big sister or whatever? Listen, folks, this is a lot of fun, so I'm going to leave you alone so you can talk to everyone else,
Well,
okay?
We're getting ready to wrap it up. It's okay. It's like, you know.
Okay.
Bye, Jennifer.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you for calling, madam.
She's so funny.
Wow. Wow,
She's
wow,
so
wow.
good.
All right,
I
Jennifer,
love
we
her.
are running out of time, my dear. I can honestly, and I swear I can honestly tell you that it has been my pleasure having you on tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Peter. I really appreciate it.
I never know what I'm going to get sometime, but I was assured of a thrill, and yeah. So we're going to just leave it at that. Listen, hey, let's tell everybody before you go, real quick, because again, time just gets away from us.
So you can check out my website at jenniferirwinauthor.com. I'm on social media. I'm also Jen Irwin Author everywhere on Twitter and LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And my book is called Address the Color of the Moon. It's available on pre-order right now on Amazon. I believe the Kindle will be on pre-order very soon. I'm about to send out the advanced review copies, so reviews will start getting posted. I'm trying to hit #1 bestseller. I'm an indie author. Support indie authors. Yay.
Yay. So hit it. I want you to hit it.
Oh, and my dress is made by LA designer Megan Fabulous.
Are you going to get up and spin around?
No. Women supporting women. She's
Can't tell
amazing.
that's the dress. It just looks like a top.
It's okay. It's a really beautiful dress. Believe me, I'm going to post it. I'll post some.
Send me a picture.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Jennifer Irwin. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Megan Fabulous is an LA designer, and I just adore her maxi dresses, and they're very easy, and you can wear them like dressy or casual, and this is the color of the moon.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
On a bright night.
Nobody sends me shit. So consider again, you're just winning in all different ways. You know,
you know
wow.
I've lost a lot, so just ride the wave when things are going good, because that's why I try to support other people, because you never know what people are going through in life, and always be kind and be good to people and be good to yourself, and listen to those voices. If you're being mean to yourself, turn that tape around.
A lot of people don't survive what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We're making a lot of jokes. We're making a lot of jokes, and because you are obviously a survivor, at least as far as I can tell, and the problem is a lot of people don't, and they don't make it, and they end up expiring in life way too early, and it's very, very sad. So I'm here to promote like survival. I love life. I do. I want to bang my head so many times. That's why I do this show. This show is not from like, hey, I just want to do a show. I lead from example, and And so I thank you for having the guts enough to be open and lead by example, and also write about what you're doing. Kind of, you've taken some reality and turned it into, a little mixed match of entertainment, but a lot of it's true, correct?
Yeah, no, let's believe me. My brother took my braces off with pliers. Read it. It's in the book. It's, my mom couldn't pay the bill. There's just a lot of things that I endured in my childhood that I know shaped and molded who I am as a person. And I had to unwind the damage, being molested by my stepfather, just a lot of things, traumatized me. So, but that's why I wrote the book, because I want people to know there is hope. There is a way to get through. There is a way to find self-love. Women get raped all the time. They don't even speak up. And it's just a really sad, tragic thing that is going on. And I just want to use my writing as a way to talk about things that are really uncomfortable, things I've experienced and a lot of women have experienced, and see if I can somehow just heal in one small way, anybody, just then I've done something good,
Yeah. Okay, listen. I love you for being honest and open. I really do, because that takes a lot. Not everybody can do what you're doing right here with me, and believe me when I tell you that if you reach one person, rightfully so, you're it's a good day, and because again, I always feel like, even with we talk about this COVID and all this crap, it's like one death of anything, with whether you believe in the vaccines or not. One death of any type, way, shape, or form is one death too many.
I agree.
A lot of people do not survive what you're talking about, and they do take themselves. And I know that probably deep down they wish they could probably take it back, but there's no taking it back. So
yeah.
Anyway, okay, great. So Jennifer Irwin, thank you for being on my show. And I hope maybe we can talk about how things are going down in the future. Who knows?
I hope so. I'd love to be on your show again. And thank you so much for having me.
Say that again. I want to hear that. Say it again. I want to hear that.
I would love to be on your show again. I'll always, even when I'm like walking the red carpet at the Oscars, I'll be on your show.
You say, hey, I want to be on the Peter G show. Hey.
Yeah, right, thank you so much, Peter. It's been really wonderful, and I appreciate you.
Really wonderful. And again, if you want to see what Jennifer Irwin's got, just go to Jennifer Irwin. Say it one more time. I want you to play it one more time.
jenniferirwinauthor.com, and I'm on Jen Irwin Author on Twitter, Jen Irwin Author on Instagram, and Jennifer Irwin Author on Facebook and LinkedIn.
Beautiful.
But all my social media links are on my website. So
beautiful. All right. I thank you again for putting up with me, and
thank you.
All right, that's it. I'll speak to you in the latter part of the week. Don't forget, Jennifer, all this stuff, just because we did a live show right now, all this stuff is going to live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. It is. You can, and Instagram. There's going to be lots of short clips and going out, and you're going to be infamously living on this little show. So take it, do whatever you want with it, and just love it and embrace it, which I know you will.
I will. All
right.
I'll be doing the hustle. Don't worry. I'll be reposting, and
I know you're all excited right now, but try to get some sleep. And
I'm gonna have some dinner, I think. All right. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Thank you much. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Bye. There you have it, folks. Reality at its finest. I can't ask for much more than that. You can't get a woman to talk to you as honestly as Jennifer just did. And I thank Jennifer Irwin. You can find Jennifer Irwin. Just Google her. What? Nothing better than being Googled. Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. I thank her, and because believe me, again, I asked questions that a lot of people don't want to answer, but she did, and I thank her for it. So all that and a bag of chips. Don't forget, she's got the new book coming out, launched today. So address The color of the moon. There we go. Address the color of the moon right here. Jennifer Irwin, gracious enough to give me her time and talk about things that a lot of people won't talk about. So, believe it. Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Share, 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 people. It's much appreciated. And don't forget, if you want to be a guest on this show, don't ever think that your story is not worthy of. Let us decide. Contact us at info@petergshow.com and tell me what's going on with you. Believe me, I'm getting a bunch of them right now. The holidays are quickly approaching on us, and I kind of wanted to stick to certain things. I'm all over the map. It doesn't matter. The thing is, we're bringing information and things to you that I feel are worthy of. Tonight was worthy of. I didn't know what I was going to get. Now, I kind of knew what I was going to get, but I'm very glad of what I've got, and I think you are too. And again, I'm very, very blessed. I'm thankful for all of you for being so faithful, so loyal. Share, 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 all right? But just if you want to be on this show, it's real simple. Just say, hey, I want to be on your show, okay? Peter G Show. It's real simple. Boom. See what lasts. Yeah. Somebody. No, I'm not making fun of you. I'm getting a lot of texts. And it's like, I'm not making fun of you. I love you. I love you. Oh, that's it. All right, people. Party's over. We've gone. Once again, I can never have an hour show. It's impossible. All right, unless I get like producers. I need people. Somebody to like crack the whip. We used to have that, but thanks to COVID, now I'm a rogue runner. I answer to no one. It's all good. All right, that's it. Stay tuned next week. I want to tell you what I'm doing next week, but I can't tell you what I'm doing next week, so you just have to stay tuned. All right, next week. One way, shape, or form, God willing, we will be here. All right? So that is it. And I just tuned into the wrong part. There we go. As always, don't be an asshole. Be kind. I know life's a bitch. I really do. I really do. I really do. Not life's a bitch. You don't have to be an asshole, though. Everybody's got problems, so just be kind. Don't put up with people's shit. But don't take a bunch of shit either. All right? Again, just life. Every day you wake up is a blessing. Believe me. I've had so many people I've lost, and I'm just, it bugs me every day. It doesn't leave my soul. I love my friends. I love people. But, shit happens that beyond your control. You can't change things. So just handle it. All right? I love you. And I'm Peter G. As always, peace out. Talk to you next Sunday night. All right? Let me know what you think. Write to me. Bye.
Peter G Show.